In this HeroClix set review, we're going to take a look at the super rares and chases of Marvel HeroClix X-Men 10 of Swords coming up on Coffee and Clix. Hi, I'm Tealish, and you're watching Coffee and Clix. We are back with part 2 of the Marvel HeroClix X-Men 10 of Swords set review. I'm not sure if I called it X of Swords or 10 of Swords in part 1. I probably called it many things. But someone's got to tell me what the correct pronunciation is for that. I'm not sure. But today we're going to be doing part 2 of the set review. It's going to be the super rares and the chases. And we're joined by Brian Galley and Kenny Pena. So nice to have you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Our grading scale for the set review is triple espresso, which is top tier figures, double espresso, which are second tier figures, single espresso, which are not really impressive figures, and herbal tea, which are figures that put you to sleep. So you have a 3, 2, 1, or 0 grading scale. And we will be looking at these figures in terms of sealed and also in terms of competitive or constructed. Although, with super rares and chases, it's a little different than when we're talking about commons, uncommons, and rares. If you want to go check out the commons, uncommons, and rares, check out part 1 of this set review, which will also be on YouTube. So here we go. Let's just jump right in and look at the first super rare of the set, which is set number 45, Captain Britain. Captain Britain is 80 points. She has 3 range with a single target, X-Men team ability, 10 speed with charge and flying, 11 attack with precision strike, 18 defense with invincible, and 3 damage with outwit. She has an optional trait for the sword bearer, so for an extra 5 points, making her 85, this character starts the game with any sword equipment equipped. And she does come with a sword in the pack when you pull her. So we'll go over that sword too. Her trait, Excalibur, Mystical Protectors. She has Mystics, but only triggers during range attacks. And Captain Britain has Safeguard Mystics. So I believe that's a trait that was kind of made its way in House of X. It's been in prior sets. But a lot of figures in this set also have that trait. And then another trait that she has for Queen and Country, Willpower, but succeeds on a 4 through 6. When Captain Britain uses it and succeeds, you may also remove an action token from a friendly character within range. You can play Captain Britain on 80 or at 40, and with the sword equipped 85 or 45. The sword that she comes with is, I believe it's Starlight.
The Starlight Sword.
The Starlight Sword. So the Starlight Sword is Blades, Claws, Fangs. When this character uses it after resolutions, you may place the hit target up to a number of squares away from their current square equal to the D6 result, which is a very powerful effect. Kenny, what do you think about this Captain Britain?
I think she's a 3-star pull, especially in sealed. She does come with a sword. You just read the sword. That is a 3-star sword. Whichever way you want to pull it, that's Blades Cross Fangs and repositioning if you use it, regardless of what you roll. That's always good. Always, always, always. She comes here a little bit similar to the House of X, Captain Britain. She has a 50-50 willpower that kind of also acts as a leadership, but it's only one roll, so saves a little time, I guess. And she doesn't care about line of fire when she uses it, so you can be behind a wall, you can be behind a character. If you're within 3 squares, bam. If you modify her range up somehow with shield TA, it's even better, and there is some shield TA available in this set. Most importantly, outwit. I think that the theme here is that we're starting to see a little bit more outwit, but it's in the higher rarities. You don't get to see many of the higher rarities usually in sealed. So she's bringing something that was lacking in the CUR. You put that all together. If you choose to equip her with a sword or not, it's especially at 40 points, it's a wonderful package. At 80 points, she pulls enough of a punch. She's definitely a 3-star for sealed. Constructed, I don't think she's quite there. I'm going to say 1. I'm going to say single espresso, triple espresso seal, single espresso constructed.
Yeah, I gotta agree with Kenny. I don't think I have much to add. Easy. Just gotta touch on. She is a sword bearer. I mentioned this in the last episode, but I mean, anytime you see that sword bearer for constructed, Swap Tech loves it.
Yep.
But past that, yeah, I don't think she's going to see a ton of play.
Yep, I think I agree with both of you. She's a 3 in sealed and maybe like a 1.5 in constructed. Maybe I don't think she's going to see much in constructed. All right, so let's take a look at the next figure, which is set number 46, Bay the Blood Moon. Bay the Blood Moon comes with what sword does she come with? She comes with the let me take a look.
Seducer is her sword.
Yes,
Seducer. So Seducer, the sword says Blades Claws Fangs. When this character uses it after resolutions, this character may use mind control as free, but only to target a hit character. And then Bay the Blood Moon herself is she comes in at 75 or 40 points. She comes with that optional trait, Sword Bearer trait. This character starts the game with any sword equipment equipped. She has 0 range with 1 target, 8 speed with hypersonic speed, 12 attack with a special attack power, 18 defense with invulnerable, and 3 damage with exploit weakness. Her attack power is Doom Note, Giant Reach 2, Quake, but deals 3 damage instead of 2. And I was actually wondering, does the hypersonic speed combo with Quake?
It does.
It does. Okay.
Quake, whenever you make a close attack, you can instead choose to target everyone adjacent, or in her case, Giant Reach 2, everyone within 2 squares that she has line of fire to.
So, Brian, what do you think about this figure?
We hit another character that I think if I pulled them, I'd probably want to run their sword with someone else. She is certainly a potent figure. She would definitely be an auto play for me. Quake 3 penetrating damage to everyone around her is phenomenal, but you can't blades when you use Quake. So I'd probably run her just on her own and then give her sword off to someone else, but still 3-shot character for me. Constructed, probably not as much going on there. As much as the penetrating Quake is as good as that is, I don't think it's going to make much of a splash, and she's another 1-shot character for constructed.
Kenny?
Yep, nope. I have very similar thoughts. The only thing I'm going to add is that she does have a second line of 40 points, but this is one of those rare cases where I actually think her top line is far superior than her second line. I really can't think of a reason you would pull this and ever choose to place on a 40 line. She doesn't bring any utility powers. I mean, she does bring the sword, but chances are you're kicking it off to someone else. Her beauty, her true power play comes on that top click, that top line, and that's really all I can. On top of agreeing with everything I said, that's all I can really add. I would say she is a 2.5 espresso star play and constructed on 75. Probably a 1 on the 40 line, and for constructed, hard to say she's an herbal tea, but she's close to it. So she's probably just the single espresso shot when it comes to constructed. Seducer, on the other hand, probably a double espresso in constructed. It's a great sword. I think it's one of those swords that it's going to have like a niche use to it compared to the other ones that we've seen, and there's more coming, but we haven't seen them yet. But in sealed, any sword you get is great. So I would say Seducer in sealed, probably a double espresso.
Yeah, I mean, I would say for sealed, she she definitely has a lot of damage output, so she could be a 2 or a 3. In constructed, though, she's a 1 for sure. So I appreciate, I definitely agree with what you guys said. Let's take a look at the next super rare, which is Nimrod the Lesser. Nimrod the Lesser is set number 47A. He is 100 points. He has 6 range with a single target, robot, ruler, and sentinel keywords, 10 speed with running shot and flying, 11 attack with penetrating psychic blast, 18 defense with invincible, 4 damage with outwit, and he is giant sized. He has a trait, rally 1 for friendly attack rolls. So that means that when when you roll a 1, you put a rally die on the card. Free, remove 1 of Nimrod the Lesser's rally dice to generate up to 2 Nimrod bystanders, max 2. And then he has another trait, upload humanity to the phalanx. Power, remove any number of rally dice from friendly characters. For every 2 dice removed this way, gain 1 mission point. And we'll take a look at his Nimrod bystanders, which are right here.
Yep. We got 9 attack, 1 damage, side blast, and exploit. 6 move, 17 defense, but no powers there, and a range of 6. Oh, and they're autonomous.
And they have a rally trait, rally 6. Opposing attack rolls, so when your opponent rolls a 6, this trait gains rally dice for Nimrod the Lesser to score when activating his upload humanity to the phalanx trait, but otherwise has no effect. So the rally dice actually go on Nimrod the Lesser, not the bystanders themselves.
Well, the bystanders get opposing 6s, and they'll keep those themselves. Then Nimrod the Lesser gets friendly 1s, and he'll stock up those.
Yep.
Okay, but the actual dice.
The
Nimrod. You put them on Nimrod's card, right? Or
no, they go on the bystanders.
The bystanders have their own rally trait. It's just a different number, and
it doesn't do anything. It just soaks up the dice so that Nimrod can cash them in for mission points.
But okay. And can you add more than 1 rally die per?
Absolutely.
Yep.
So let's say. Okay. Yeah. I see. That's why they have different activations. So one of them activates on a 1, and one of them activates on your opponent's 6. So if that happens both in the same turn, then they will both get rally dice.
Well, it's unlikely to happen in the same turn because
you
and your opponent probably are.
I mean, double 6 could be rolled, I guess.
So Kenny, what do you think about Nimrod the Lesser?
I like him. He's an interesting take on this character. He plays a little differently. He's a mission point character. I don't think you'll get the mission. I mean, we've seen Kate Pride, and there's nothing stopping you from combining these mission point effects. They don't mesh very well, unfortunately. Those
Nimrod bystanders do fly. They are autonomous. They can carry your.
I doubt it's going to be a fluid, easy win condition in sealed, let alone just pulling these 2, a rare and a super rare. If you do it and you pull it off, hit back this episode, leave your comments, and let us know so that way, and tell us a story. But I do like what he's bringing otherwise. Once again, outwit, boom. Penetrating psychic blast, boom. Running shot, invincible. And again, not for the mission points, but autonomous penetrating characters who can fly. 2 of them, not 1. All you got to do is roll a 1 once, and you get 2 free annoying attackers. And that's the way you want to play this guy in sealed. I think you pull him. We're probably looking at. I'll say 2.5. I'm not going to say 3. I do think there are slightly better options, but if you pull him, you're in a good spot. 2.5 when it comes to seal. Constructed, probably going to say 1.5. I haven't figured out. You got to play a bunch of rally with this guy, and there's a lot of blade with the undead rally, and the longer he stays alive, the more opportunity he could just stack up rally dice. Is that how you pull it off? We'll see, but it's hard to tell. It's hard to really give him a score. 2.5 sealed, 1.5 constructed.
Yeah, full agreement with sealed, and I don't think there's really much more to say about him there. Constructed, I'm actually looking at him with the Prime Iska we saw back last episode. Anytime you have those rally any traits, like the any 3, any 4, I think those are the way to go with him. And Prime Iska's got a little bit of undying tech going on. She can help herself stay alive as she soaks up those rally dice. I think there might be something there. But yeah,
Moira. I totally forgot about Moira. She exists.
Is Prime Iska X-Men? I'm forgetting.
She is.
Then even better. Just take those power actions to load up the rally dice. You don't even need to wait for rolls.
Yep.
But yeah, like 2.5, 3 shots for sealed, probably like 1.5 for constructed.
Yeah, I think for sealed, I mean, I'm almost a 3 with him because he's got the outwit, he's got the penetrating damage, he's got invincible.
Everything you want in sealed.
Invincible.
He is a giant though, so he's kind of a big target.
He's a big target. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, in constructed, not so much. It remains to be seen with the mission points. But people have made it work before. So with Prime Wrecker and things like that. So we'll see what happens with the new mission point figures that have come out for this set. Let's take a look at the next figure, which is actually his counterpart. We had Nimrod the Lesser, and now we're going to have Nimrod Prime. So set number 47B. He comes in at 125 or 35. When he was first shown, a lot of people had opinions about him. So he's at 125 points. He's got cosmic energy, 6 range with a single target, 10 speed with running shot and flying, 12 attack with a special power, 19 defense with invincible, 4 damage with outwit, and also giant size. He's future, robot, and sentinel keywords. He has improved targeting, destroys blocking, and improved targeting characters. He has the recruiter trait, power, choose a character. So we've seen the recruiter trait in part 1 of the set review. I'll read it one more time here. Recruiter, power, choose a character with the sentinel keyword in your KO area that hasn't been chosen for this effect and wasn't generated by a recruiter effect. If you do, generate a character with the sentinel keyword from your sideline that has a lower point value than the chosen character. This game, the generated character can't be replaced, and your opponent scores them immediately instead of when they're KO'd. So there's that trait. Then his attack power is Disintegration Beam, Pulse Wave. When Nimrod uses it, you may instead only target characters within range along a single direct line of fire. So you can choose to do that. If you do, hit characters are dealt 2 damage instead of 1. If only 1 character was targeted and it was an opposing character, he deals his printed damage value instead. So kind of like the old school Pulse Wave a little bit, before the rules change. And then he also has a defense power. His last click, he has a stop click that says stop, invincible, and regeneration. So that's his 125 point line. This is his 35 point line, which has the same traits and attack powers, same traits and powers. Brian, what do you think of Nimrod Prime?
I mean, if you're lucky enough to pull a super rare Prime in sealed, go for it. 3 shots. He brings outwit to the table, high attack, decent range, a 10 speed running shot, lets cover a good bit of ground. The pulse wave, it's nice. Most of the time, I'm probably just going to shoot the one target I need for the 4 damage. But I mean, hey, if they get in close, why not? And you got to stop with Invincible and Regen down the end. He just does not drop. That's fantastic. For Constructed, I don't think anyone will ever run him on the 125 line, but that 35-point line is pretty sexy, especially with Master Mold. And there's been a lot of chatter about using him, just spawning in multiple copies with the Master Mold, because they come in from outside the game. That gets around the Prime restriction. And that is a real nice call-in for Master Mold to churn out. I think he's going to be another 3-shot for Constructed.
Kenny?
I mean, not much more I can add on. I was going to make that same point where this is a Prime that you might actually want more than one of. Yay, Whiz Kids. Print money. But no, it's done well. It makes sense. It goes with the theme, especially what Sentinels and robots are trying to do for those players who want to play it. Brian missed on the fact that he's Cosmic Energy. He has great IT destroy blocking characters, but he hit 14 out of the 15 points you want to cover. That's how amazing this super rare Prime is. So not much more I can add. You pull him in sealed, go kick some butt. Triple Espresso, I actually think he's probably better. He's much better constructed. 35-point line. If you ever play him at 125, you're playing with your food, or you're just playing like a 1,000-point game. But it really just comes out as low line. He's also a giant, so a bit of a target on his head, but you can't really outwit him. There's ways to protect him. There's ways to defend. There's ways to do other things. Not much more I can say. Triple espresso shots all around.
Yeah, I agree with both of you that he's triple both ways. I'm excited to play him at 35 points on Constructed. So, I mean, correct me about this. So he can use the recruiter trait and bring in other primes from outside the game?
No.
Master Mold has a factory dial. And when you get to a certain number, you can generate characters up to a certain any number of characters that's point value is equal or less to whatever number that is. So let's just say Master Mold gets to 70. Let's just say 70, right? You generate, it just says generate characters, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't say specific in the sideline. So on your force build, you don't have to write Nimrod Prime 2, 3, or 4 times. 1, it's illegal. 2, it's not required. So because of that, he's saying bring it from outside the game. There's no rules with primes restricting that. You can go ahead and, if you're lucky enough, have an army of Nimrod Primes on your map through the Sentinel factory. Yes. And that's if I'm not, I might be wrong, this might be the first time any prime's been able to, that's the first time you could do that with any kind of prime, with any interaction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, once they have that on like Troll and Toad or something, I guess Nimrod Primes are going to be sold out within minutes, right?
Yeah, and then when they die, they go to the KO area, and that gives you recruiter fodder for the other Nimrod Primes that are alive to bring in whatever it is you have on your sideline. So there's a nice robot factory line chain going on there. You give up points that way, but it helps you keep the presence on the board.
And don't forget, you can reuse things in the KO area if you need to generate something that's that copy. So all those dead set primes, you can just push them right back in if need be.
Sure.
It's
all right, so let's take a look at Deadpool. So yeah, I really like that Nimrod Prime. Let's take a look at Deadpool. Deadpool is the next super rare, set number 48. 40 points. He is a team player, team ability, 5 range with a single target, 10 speed with the dolphin symbol and a special power, 10 attack with Quake, 18 defense with super senses, 3 damage with perplex. He has a trait, floaties for everyone. Adjacent friendly characters have the dolphin symbol. Another trait, my healing factor is mostly battling sunburn. At the end of your turn, heal Deadpool 1 click. And then he has his speed power is What part of pool didn't you understand? Phasing teleport, free, generate up to 4 water terrain markers in squares within range and line of fire. At the beginning of your turn, even if lost, remove them. Kenny, what do you think about Deadpool?
He's fantastic. Even just flavor-wise, he also hits that notch as well. He is 40 points. He's not dealing a lot of damage, but he's making your opponent think. He's annoying your opponent, which is exactly what Deadpool would do in any fashion. So as a super rare, he probably is worth that triple espresso play because he does give you that coverage. He forces your characters to come in close. We have seen there's a little bit of an uptick of range characters here, a lot of 6s in the common slots, some 7s. So now he's cutting that down to 4 as long as your characters are occupying water terrain, which he provides, and they're adjacent to Deadpool, which shouldn't be too difficult. So even those force blasters for free, they got to get in close and knock them out so that way they can get shot. So it's just a nuisance. That being said, he brings Perplex, he brings Team Player, he has late dial blades, and he can deal the damage even in a 40-point package. If you don't KO him, he can annoyingly heal back up to the first 2 clicks to continue annoying you. So he's going to be a nuisance. He's a triple espresso in sealed, but might not be super beginner friendly, but the potential is there. Constructed, absolutely triple espresso. Everyone's talking about Thanos. I get that he's kind of on the downturn of things, but even if Thanos was or not, whether he's relevant or not, it's still an annoying thing that he does. He's doing what Prime Bishop does, and he's not a Prime, which frees up a Prime, which means you can play something else. He has the X-Men keyword. We have tons of those. Sky's the limit now with X-Men team builds, especially with the swap mechanic. So, yeah, triples all around.
Brian?
I don't quite love him as much for sealed. I think I'm going to give him a double shot. He is by no means a bad piece. I probably would be wishing to see another super rare figure than him because he doesn't bring much offensive potential.
That's fair.
But still, he is a perplex piece. That's fantastic and sealed. I don't think his granting everyone the swim ability is that great in this set specifically because there's a lot of charge, a lot of blades. I think most of the big threats in this set are going to be close combat. Outside of this set, what you get to construct, though, easy triple shot. This is one of the best figures in the set. We're going to be seeing him on maps for a long time to come.
I agree with both of you. I think Deadpool, I would give him a 2 in sealed. Probably wanting to pull something a little bit beefier in the super rare slot, but he's still very good. And in constructed, he's an easy 3. He'll definitely see play for sure. So let's take a look at Monarch, which is set number 49. Monarch has 50 points. He's got the Cosmic Energies and Mystics team ability, 7 range with single target, 10 speed with facing teleport, 11 attack with Pulse Wave, 18 defense with Invincible, 3 damage with Empower. He's got the Cosmic, Mystical, Ruler, and X-Men keywords. He has 3 traits. His first trait says Monarch starts the game with 1 hindering, 1 water, and 1 blocking terrain marker on his card. When an opposing character generates terrain after resolutions, you may place a terrain marker of a type they generated on this card. And I don't think they get removed on their own. I think you have to do things.
He uses them as currency. We'll get to it.
So his next trait, it's only reality. Free, remove a terrain marker from this card to choose one. Generate a terrain marker of that type in a square within range, or remove a terrain marker of that type in a square within range. And then his last trait is Witchbreed King of Avalon. Leadership. When Monarch uses it and succeeds, he may immediately remove a terrain marker from this card. If he does, this turn, friendly characters adjacent to or occupying terrain of that type are considered adjacent to him. Brian, what do you think about Monarch here?
All right, so right off the bat, before we even touch the traits, 50 points for 7 range, 11 attack, 3 damage, invincible, and Mystic's team ability. He's going to take likely at least 2 hits to go down. That's 2 free damage to your opponent. He has one of the longest ranges in the set. He can snipe characters for that 3 damage. He's a pretty good and sealed just on those alone. Then you get to the Turing Manipulation. He's not going to be harvesting a lot of terrain off your opponents in sealed, but being able to drop that, free blocking, free hindering for your stealth character right where you need it. You play that right, he definitely give you some results. The thing that gets me, the leadership special, that's a burst effect. Means that when you resolve it, it's going to check who's adjacent to terrain at that moment. And then going forward, it won't matter if they remain adjacent for the turn. He's just going to consider those characters adjacent this turn. So with his empower, with his support, let's say you're up against a wall, he hits leadership, you blocking terrain. You've got that free +1 damage no matter where that character goes. They can charge in, start doing their business. I think he is a 3-shot in sealed. In constructed, as much as I love this figure, probably only a 1-shot. There is a definite puzzle to his abilities. I'm definitely going to be playing around with him, trying to figure him out, but I don't think he's going to make much of a splash in constructed.
Kenny?
I think he's one in constructed. I do agree that he's fun to play around with, and he has a lot of koopy things going on. So people who like to mess around with those mechanics, like me, like Brian, we might play with them a little bit here and there. But making a top 8 table, I doubt it. If he was 25 points, that's a different story. But he's 50. That being said, in sealed, I do agree with Brian. His stats are healthy. He doesn't have the move attack. There's not a lot of TK in this set. So there might be some issues getting him into position, but the cosmic energy helps. It gives him a 1 out of 3 chance of clearing tokens after he moves. He does things. I like that he has Mystic Invincible. That alone, I'm going to give him a 1.5 when it comes to sealed, because everything else is just too clunky and sealed. And if you don't know how to really utilize all of these things going on, it's just wasted text, and you're just playing him for numbers. I get it. I get that, things could go your way. It's just going to be an uphill battle. I'm probably going to give him a 1.5 sealed, 1 in constructed. And yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would give him a 1.5 in sealed just because of the lack of the move and attack. He does have a long range, so he does have good stats. I think in constructed, I'm optimistic with him because he's just so interesting. I would probably give him like a 1.5. I mean, he does have the ability to also remove a barrier, so he can remove blocking from from within range. So that's always good because barrier is pretty important. But I know I get what Kenny's saying. If he was just 25 points instead of 50, he would be obviously way better. So. I'd give him a 1.5 in constructed and sealed. All right, let's take a look at the next super rare, which is Abigail Brand. Abigail Brand is 40 points. She has the shield team ability. She has 6 range with a single target. She's set number 50. 8 speed with the special, 11 attack with Pensai, 17 defense with toughness, and 3 damage with another special power. She has the politician, sword, soldier, and X-Men keywords. She has the trait leadership. When establishing theme teams, characters on your starting force with the X-Men keyword gain the sword keyword. Her special speed power is phasing teleport when Abigail Brand uses it and moves 4 squares or less. After resolutions, she may make an attack. And then also, that could be a range attack or a close attack, so that's pretty cool. And then also, her damage power is I head the sentient world's observation and response department. Friendly characters within range that can use the X-Men team ability can use the shield team ability. There's a lot there. Kenny, what do you think about Abigail Brand?
She's fragile. She's terrible. Don't ever play her. No, I'm kidding. She's a 3-star constructed. I mean, X-Men's already a powerful keyword. Now you could mix sword with it, and we just had a set that had a nice few pieces of sword. I mean, like Prime Vision, Tyler Hayward. And on top of that, she also lets the X-Men use the shield team ability. So, yeah, that's a lot of range manipulation. We were talking about how there were 6s and 7s. You pulled this girl, you pulled this wonderful lady, and you play her with some X-Men. We're looking at 8s, 9s, maybe 10s. And yeah, that alone is worth a triple espresso unless you pull her and you pull nothing but Araco pieces, which I just don't see that happening. She comes with move and attack, facing teleport, pretty much like a small little running shot, essentially. That can be a close attack. It could be a running shot or a charge. You choose. She has a penetrating damage, so likely you want to use it with range, but if you have to throw down with hands, she can. She is fragile, so I wasn't lying about that, but I don't care. She's still good enough. She's triple and constructed. She is triple as long as you have enough X-Men to play with in field. If you are that unlucky, she's still probably a double on her own. And that's where I stand with Abigail here.
Yeah, it's worth bearing in mind, even if you don't pull enough X-Men to make that a shield TA grant thing worthwhile, which unlikely in this set, but even if it does, she's still a running shot, effectively a running shot, 11 attack, 3 damage, Psy Blast that can run through walls and can't be tied up for 40 points.
Yep.
She is a solid attacker. She'll fit on basically any team, and if you have the X-Men to make her, that extra bit, all the better. Easy 3-shot, both constructed and sealed.
Yeah, I think she's definitely a 3 for both. I mean, it might depend a little bit on what you pull, but I mean, I still think she's got great stats, and for 40 points, you can't go wrong with what she does. The shield team ability is just so powerful, and upping range, and also increasing the damage, and for range attacks. You can do a lot with the shield team ability, and in constructed, she's going to be good too because she has that keyword manipulation, so that's really awesome. So I really like her. And now's a good time to just mention, if you are watching the show or listening and you enjoy my content, don't forget to subscribe. I really appreciate it. Also make sure you check out part 1 of this set review, which is where we go over the commons, uncommons, and rares. Right now you're watching part 2, which is the super rares and chases for Marvel HeroClix X-Men 10 of Swords. So let's take a look at the next super rare in the set, which is Whiz Kid.
Hey.
Whiz Kid. We haven't had a Whiz Kid in a while. X of Swords, set number 51. He is 45 points. Shield team ability, 6 range with a single target, 8 speed with phasing teleport and flying, 9 attack with a special, 18 defense with energy shield deflection, 1 damage also with a special. He has the armor, robot, sword, scientist, X Factor, and X-Men keywords. He has a trait built for 1 only, passenger 0. At the beginning of your turn, you may place Whiz Kid in an adjacent square. So don't think about using Whiz Kid as a taxi or anything because he can't carry anybody. Then the attack power is Mutant Technopath. Free. Choose an adjacent friendly character that has the armor or robot keyword and hasn't attacked this turn. This turn, Whiz Kid replaces his attack and damage values with the printed attack and damage values of the chosen character, and the chosen character can't attack or be chosen for this effect by other characters. So that's interesting. And then his damage power is Enhancement, Outwit, and Perplex. So, Kenny, what do you think about Whiz Kid?
So, Enhancement, Outwit, Perplex. That's good enough for me. to just want to play him. But in Technopath, that's where the meat and potatoes are. So I think he works wonderfully with the Danger Room constructs since they can't really utilize their full damage. He can. Also, he just has to be next to them to activate the action. After that, they can separate. Now, he doesn't really have move and attack. So, if we're talking about TK and other ways to manipulate placement, that's how you want to utilize it. But he'll take those 9/1s, turn them into 11 3s, 10 whatever. It's just damage, and that's good. But if you don't pull those Arbor robot characters, he's just a good utility figure. So I think more often than not, he's probably going to be a double espresso because he's going to give you the enhancement out with Perplex. If you are able to pull 1 or 2 armor robot keywords and you have the means to go around the map and utilize it properly, that's when he gets into triple espresso territory. As far as constructed, we were talking about people might want to play robots again. People might want to play Danger Room constructs again. I can see some people experimenting with him. I can see him hitting the maps a little bit. I'm probably going to say he's a double espresso. However, I think down the road, people will realize you're probably just better off with either Master Mold. You're probably better off with just running constructs exclusively and not him. But I'll be happy to be wrong. But I do think he's good enough for people to at least try and see what they can get with him. So owning him shouldn't be too expensive because, he's not an automatic, I have to buy this figure. So people will experiment with him, and all it takes is 1 or 2 people to crack the top with him, and then maybe he gets to that level. But as of right now, he's right there. He's worth experimenting. So double and constructed, double and constructed, double and sealed, triple if you have armor robots in sealed.
Yep, I fully agree with Kenny. I don't really have a ton to add there. It's just for sealed. It's just easy enhancement, outwit, perplex, shield bonus for range, maybe even another +1 to damage. Solid support piece. You're gonna be a little bummed you didn't pull an attacker in the super rare slot, but he's still pretty good.
Got to make do with what you got, right?
Yep, that's sealed.
Yeah, I would put him at a 2 in sealed because he's a great support piece. And in constructed, I'm not 100% sure because there might be better options. So maybe put him at a 1.5 for constructed. Let's take a look at Hope Summers. Hope Summers is set number 52. She's a super rare. She comes in at either 100 or 40 points. And you can see the dial is a little different for 100 and with 40. It's just extended longer. She's got the same starting click for both her 100-point line and her 40-point line. So she starts with the team player, team ability, 6 range with 2 targets, 8 speed with stealth, 10 attack with telekinesis, 17 defense with combat reflexes, and 3 damage with enhancement. She has a trait, Mastermind and Leadership. If Hope Summers is 40 points, she is KO'd when her dial clicks past the red KO line. Protected Pulse Wave. So that's why she has the same click for both dials. She has a trait, Omega level Power Mimicry. Free, choose a character within range and line of fire, and 2 standard powers they can use. Hope Summers can use the chosen powers until your next turn. And then if you do pay 100 points for her, she has a stop click. White Phoenix, stop, invincible. When this power is first revealed for the rest of the game, Hope Summers has flying and cosmic energy and can't be healed above this click. So, Brian, what do you think of Hope Summers?
Easy 3-star, both constructed and sealed. For sealed, you're probably running her at the 100-point line. For constructed, you're probably only ever running her at the 40-point line. But in both cases, she will do a lot of work for you. We were critiquing Sync earlier, because you don't necessarily have to really kind of rely on what you're pulling with him when he copies his 2 powers. Hope on her own has fantastic powers. She has everything she needs on her dial right there. Calling the powers for her is just gravy. She's going to open the game up. You got the TK, you got the enhancements. You can make your other figures better. If you pull a support figure, you can double up on your support powers. When the time comes, your opponent's got to actually deal with her, though. They are not going to like what they're seeing when they knock her to the stop click. Constructed, she's, like I said, she's probably only going to be seen at the 40 points in Constructed, but she's one of the best support characters in the game right now, and she has phenomenal keywords with multiple teams that can run swap tech with her. She's going to see maps.
Kenny, what do you think?
Yeah, I got to agree with Brian here. The only thing I can really add on is that, she has the Avengers keyword, and we have Avenger sets coming out in the future. So if there is any doubt, which I don't think there is, of her kind of like falling out because, people like to play with the new set, she's going to fit in just fine with that event, with all those Avengers. But yeah, 40 point. I think you probably play at 100 in sealed, unless you just pull a lot of monsters and you just want that utility. But why would you pass that up? In constructed, it's the 40-point line. And the only other thing I'm going to bring up is that her Omega level power mimicry, it's choose a character. So yes, that means a friendly character. That also means an opposing character. It does not specify. You do not need actually, you do need range of line of fire. My bad. However, they do not need to have the powers displayed. So if you are up against someone with a sword, Blaze Claw's Fangs, there you go. They might not have it displayed. You can pick it. Doesn't matter what source, how they have it. If they have access to a power, she has access to that power. Other than that, there's nothing else for me to add. I completely agree with everything else Brian just said.
Does it have to be... Is it any power on their card, or is it just any power they can use currently?
Any power they can use currently.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter if it's on their card. They could have it from an equipment. They could have it from some other character granting them that power. As long as they can use it, she can copy it.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I mean, I agree with both of you. I think Hope Summers is one of the better super rares. She's got a 3 all around for me, constructed and sealed.
And our third TK character. Very little TK in the set.
Not a lot of TK, so
not a lot of TK.
All right, so let's take a look at Arcade.
Oh boy.
Brian, you want to do Arcade? So Arcade is set number 53A, and he is 40 points. He's got the team player team ability, 6 range with a single target. He's a super rare unique. He's got 8 speed with stealth, 10 attack, 18 defense with a special, and 3 damage with a special. He's got the assassin and robot keywords. He has a trait, Welcome to Murder World. If Arcade's controller chose the map, he has power, choose a piece of blocking terrain within range, generate a kill a robot bystander in a square adjacent to that piece of terrain. If Arcade's controller did not choose the map, he has, at the beginning of the game, give Arcade 3 killer robot tokens, free, remove a killer robot token to generate a killer robot bystander. Then he has his defense power is, you play by my rules now, Mastermind and Willpower. When Arcade uses Mastermind, friendly bystanders within range are considered adjacent. And that's any bystanders, not just his bystanders. It'd be any bystanders that you have that are friendly. And then he has a damage power, Leadership. When Arcade uses it and succeeds, you may instead generate a kill robot bystander, and it can use Autonomous this turn. So that's Arcade, and we can look at the killer robots bystanders that he produces. 8 speed, 10 attack with blade, 17 defense with toughness, 1 damage. They are not autonomous by themselves, but that's what they do right there. Brian, what do you think about Arcade?
I am thrilled to see Arcade back in the game. I don't know if you know this, one of my earliest teams I've played competitively was an Arcade Red Lantern team. So I am just thrilled to see this character back. He's not as good as he was back in the day, but this is still a solid representation. I would give him three shots for sealed, just because he's decent bystander generation. He gives you the leadership. Those killer robots, they're not autonomous, they don't have movement attack, but it's still free characters that can use blades to rip the opponent up. For constructed, he's probably only going to be a one shot. I don't think him winning map is enough of a boost to really make people start salivating over him, but he's going to be so much fun to play, and I can't wait to crack him.
Kenny?
So I do like him. He isn't as good as the last arcade, but it's really hard to top that arcade. That arcade was over the top.
What set was the last arcade from? He was from
Avengers Assemble, because he was messing around with those initiative kids.
Okay.
But anyway, so I love leadership that generates bystanders. I get that those bystanders don't have autonomous, unless you go leadership, because they have autonomous for that one turn, which is nice. They don't have a max.
Mm-hmm.
If you are hot with leadership, you can flood the board with killer robots. And then now he has all this mastermind fodder. And yes, I get it. You might not have the actions to really place him or whatnot, but that's still an annoyance. Them just existing, being able to get carried and place, and you have to break away for them. And if you don't, they could potentially blade you. That presence alone is just obnoxious to deal with, and he's only 40 points. That means there's 260 other points of your team that's doing other things. For that alone, he is worth the triple espresso. But like I said with other characters before, he's not a straightforward, straight shooter kind of person. So if you're comfortable with that kind of play, you will maximize him. If you're a new player listening to this and you pull him and you expect him to win the game on his own, you're going to have a bad time. Constructed, as much as I want to see him play, he has a robot keyword. I think robot's on an upswing again. I don't think he makes the cut. I rather have Whiz Kid, rather experiment with Whiz Kid than this guy, even though I really like this guy.
Yeah.
He's probably just going to be a 1-star in constructed. Funny little tidbit. The defense power when arcade uses mastermind friendly bystanders within range are considered adjacent. The Wonder Woman set, there was a bunch of lanterns that generated constructs. Those are considered bystanders. It's very easy to generate those bystanders. You want to have a little fun time, play them with Chip or whoever, and now arcade just has, if he doesn't hit the leadership, he'll always have at least that safety net of a bystander to mastermind to. But that's it.
We did see that lantern constructs are back in Batman Team Up, and there's lantern rings that supposedly pirate them. So maybe arcade can make his own.
Yeah, he'll be the he gets to choose a ring of it.
Yeah,
he'll get a lantern ring of his own then. If that's the case, yeah.
The one thing I forgot to point out is that if he's on his map, he does not need line of fire to the blocking he's generating off of. Just needs to be within range. If you bring him to a map that's got a lot of narrow, windy passages, like Realm of Death or something, you can force your opponent into positions where there's nowhere for them to go, but next to walls that robots are going to pop out of.
I mean, it's also possible to plan to lose map. I mean, if you play non-theme, and then you use him as kind of like an alpha striker, because you can carry him up, and then he can free drop the robot.
That is also true.
Mm-hmm.
And he's only 40 points. I mean, he's not as good as like Maggot, but I mean, he's, he can.
He'll last longer than Maggot.
Right.
So,
and nothing Maggot generates has blades.
Now that I think about it, I might want to bump him up to. He might be worth. I think he's one of those figures that maybe the first year he's out, he won't get the love, but at the second year, when you start seeing options going away, he all of a sudden will start standing out a bit more. If I have to make a bold prediction, I'll probably up it to double espresso and constructed, but not right away.
All right, so let's take a look at his counterpart, who is he's a prime, Mad Jim Jaspers. I mean, I think in the comics he's like an Omega level, like powerful.
reality warper from
Reality.
the early Excalibur runs. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know too much about him in the comics, but I know he's like uber powerful. Mad Jim Jespers is a prime. He's 35 points, cosmic energy, team ability, 5 range with 3 targets, 8 speed with facing teleport, 12 attack with incapacitate, 18 defense with a special, and 1 damage with perplex. He has the cosmic, mystical, politician, and ruler keywords. He has a trait, the Crooked Market. Free, choose an equipped friendly character within range and line of fire. Replace their equipped equipment with another equipment of equal or less points from your sideline. So you're going to have equipment on your sideline. And then he has power. Once per game, choose a friendly unequipped character within range and line of fire, and choose an equipment from your sideline. Equip the chosen character with the chosen equipment. His defense special is super senses and barrier, and also barrier as free, but only to generate 2 markers. Kenny, what do you think about Mad Jim Jespers? Well, Brian did arcade, so
yeah. It's okay. I know we both love this figure. This guy is, I mean, it's very rare all the primes are home runs in this set. They are, one way or another, with sealed, constructed, and or both. This guy will be a constructed play. He does have competition with Destroyer Prime and some other primes here and there, but he is swinging hard and he'll make a presence. He finds a way to manipulate, circumvent equipment rules, to easily equip characters by utilizing the sideline, and it just opens up so many different options. In Silver Age, it gets even nuttier when you're talking about there's no point limit. So you want to pop a 30-point Infinity Gauntlet onto someone, which you would never ever play back in the day. Now all of a sudden you consider it. All of a sudden that 30-point Infinity Gauntlet is a viable option, or a Cosmic Cube, whatever the case may be. So in Constructed, he is triple espresso, quadruple espresso, whatever you want to call it. He is your caffeine addiction that you need to go to Caffeine Anonymous after you got your use out of him. In Sealed, I don't love him as much. He's not bad. He's our second source of barrier in this set, which is good because there's not a lot of barrier. He has a 12 in cap, 5 range. He has perplex. He has a lot of things going on. But it's the Crooked Market might not come into play. You might pull 1 sword. You might pull 2. And yeah, I guess you can manipulate them, but chances are you're probably going to auto-equip them anyway, or to save 5 points, you use this trait, but you're saving that 5 points for what? You only got 10 figures to really work with. So I don't think you're really getting your bang for your buck here in Sealed. That being said, in-cap barrier perplex for 35 points. Very hard to not include that. I'm going to say double espresso when it comes to Sealed. And for Constructed, get help. You have an addiction problem.
Yeah, the 3-shot rating is insufficient.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have much else to add there. Kenny covered it all. The one thing I could say is that if you're running him, you got to keep an eye out for Destroyer Primes, because you're signing yourself up to get destroyered by using him.
That's fair.
But still, the flexibility he brings is more than worth it, in my opinion.
One thing I would also add is if you're playing Mad Jim Jespers on a constructed team, it helps you with that problem that a lot of people have of they play a game and they don't win the map roll, and then they're playing equipment.
Exactly.
And somebody comes across the board and either steals or destroys their equipment. So this kind of alleviates that problem.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, I would say three definitely for constructed, 2 maybe for sealed. But I mean, you can still make use of him because he's got really good support powers and stuff.
If you pull him in sealed and you're a constructed player, you're happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're happy you pulled them too. So.
Yeah.
All right, so let's take a look at set number 54, X23. She is 90 points. She's got the X-Men team ability, 0 range with a single target. She has the Assassin, Martial Artist, Weapon X, and X-Force and X-Men keywords. Real name Laura Kennie. She moves through characters. She has a trait, I heal faster than Logan. At the beginning of your turn, you may heal X23 one click. At the end of your turn, you may heal X23 one click. So it's a lot of healing. She has a speed power, charge stealth. When X23 uses charge, if she occupies hindering terrain, she doesn't have speed. She has an attack power, Blades, Claws, Fangs. When X23 uses it, instead roll 2d6 and choose one to be the result. She starts with that speed power and that attack power. Her starting defense power is combat reflexes. Her starting damage power is outwit. She does have a stop click at the very end of her dial, where it says stop each time this click is revealed. If X23 is the only character on your force, KO her. Brian, what do you think about X23?
Easy 3-shot for sealed. That much healing is going to be difficult for your opponent to deal with, and she's got a tremendous amount of damage output. Yeah, if I pull her, I'm running her. Constructed, not as much. I feel like she's something of a new player trap. Yeah, that's the sort of effect someone who hasn't really experienced the game much is going to look at and like really get amazed by. And she's not terrible, but I think experienced players will be able to handle her well enough in a constructed environment. If you're running her constructed, you're definitely going to want to give her some sort of equipment that gives her like shape change or super senses, just so that when she hits that stop click, it's not a guaranteed one. It's not going to have the easy double tap at the 12 defense to get her off. Probably give her maybe a 1.5 shot for constructed.
And Kenny?
No, she's definitely a triple in sealed. How I was talking about some other characters. I was giving them some ratings, and I was saying, hey, this character can do it, but you have to be familiar with to do it. It's not easy and go. This is an easy go character, and there's nothing wrong with that. She does what she does, and she does it very well. It would be nice if she had flurry, but you can't have everything. We could always say we want more and more and more and never be satisfied. But what she does have, she has outwit. And what was the one thing that we're lacking in outwit in this set with CUR? It was outwit. She brings it. So she can move through characters, essentially a little less than half the map, take a power off, potentially stab someone really hard, and and just be annoying. Stealth is helpful here, so she ends her movement in hindering with reflexes. Your opponents, if they don't, there's not a lot of IT hindering this set. They're going to have to deal with that 19. And also there's not a lot of outwit in this set, so even if they did have outwit, they have to get adjacent, take it away. So there's a lot of things going in her favor when it comes to sealed. And constructed, Brian was being nice with the single espresso. This is an herbal tea. I'm sorry. It's a good figure. If you play it in constructed, you could probably get that one shot really good, but it's just not going to be consistent. It's not going to see top table play. It doesn't mean that she's a bad figure. Why did she get made? It's just that she just lacks the tools you would need that would be cause for consideration on a meta team.
Yeah.
And so we're looking at triple sealed, herbal, constructed.
Yeah, I agree. Triple sealed, herbal, constructed. And don't forget, for viewers or listeners, when we say constructed, we mean like high level constructed at tournament play with high level teams. I mean, if you're playing a constructed team that you constructed for casual play or in the kitchen table, I think she's fine for that, absolutely. But she's not gonna see like high level play. I mean, I think it's because of her point value also, to be honest with you, because expending that many points for what she does, maybe in constructed play wouldn't be so good. But in sealed, she's great. So let's take a look at the next figure, which is Summoner, set number 55. He is 120 points, but he does come with the Sword Bearer trait, which is an optional 5 points. He has the Mystic's team ability, 0 range with a single target, 10 speed with a special, 12 attack, 18 defense with invincible, 3 damage with a special power as well. His special speed power is phasing teleport and stealth. When Summoner uses phasing teleport and moves 5 squares or less, after resolutions he may make a close attack. And then his damage power is Outwit and Shape Change, Perplex, but may only target opposing characters. And then on click 4 and click 8, he has a stop click, and it says stop invulnerability. When this click is first revealed from damage taken by an opposing character's attack, after resolutions generate 1 of each bystander on this card that's not already on the map. So the bystanders that he brings are Dur, which I love it. I love Dur. I love Dur.
Dur.
And then Hulgo Dur. I don't know if I'm pronouncing these right. And Urgogloth. So Dur is 4 speed with charge, 9 attack, quake, 17 defense with impervious, and when Dur uses impervious, instead roll 2d6 and choose 1 to be the result, and 3 damage for him. Hulgodur is 8 speed with flurry, 11 attack with blades, 17 defense with super senses, and 2 damage with exploit weakness. That's not bad. And then Ulgogloth is 6 speed with plasticity, 10 attack with precision strike, 18 defense with invulnerable, and 4 damage, and he's giant sized. So and he's got 3 targets. So those are pretty cool bystanders. Summoner also comes with a sword that I think Colony.
Yep.
Which is a really good sword. Let's take a look at Colony. Blades, Claws, Fangs, and Exploit Weakness. When this character uses Blades, Claws, Fangs, if the target shares a keyword with this character, increase the damage dealt by 1. So, Brian, what do you think of Summoner here?
Well, I actually pulled him in my pre-release, and he was the 3-shot figure for me. The Mystics, the long dial, the good defenses, 2 stop clicks. He dealt a fair bit of damage just from sitting there and soaking attacks. But once those summons come out, hoo boy. Urgloth was carrying me around, tying up my opponents, locking down the field, while Hugo Deer just ate things with the flurry exploit. I didn't get as much use out of Dur as I think I would have liked to, but still, that the double roll impervious is nothing to sneeze at. For Sealed, Colony makes a huge difference because, I mean, he's an X-Men, he's a Racco, and that between the 2 of those, that's 90% of the set.
And Mystical.
Mystical gets you the other 10%. But for Constructed, I don't think I like him as much. I'm probably going to give, I'm feeling being generous just because some rose-colored glasses on right now, but I'm going to give him 1 shot for Constructed. He's just a lot of your build, and I don't think the sort of passive play that you can use him in Sealed is necessarily going to carry over to Constructed play. Yeah. But still, when you hit those stop and the beasties come out, it is fun.
Kenny?
So all the Outwit was hiding in the super rare slot. So
yeah.
So this is it spices up Seal because there are going to be a certain amount of super rares that are going to be played, but it's like you're going to see 1, but is it going to be 2? Is it going to be 3? Is that one guy going to pull 4? But that's a different discussion here. I do like that he has it. I do like everything that Brian said. Brian played with it. Obviously, he did really well with it. I respect his opinion and his thoughts on it. I don't disagree at all. I think those bystanders are just gravy on top of everything else that he's doing. He's a deep dial mystics guy. He might be easy to take down. He's stopping vulnerability. We've seen there's a lot of penetrating damage, so it would be really cool if there was a surefire way to make sure that those bystanders get to be generated twice. Most likely not happening. So once they're out, but they're going to do work.
Well, he's got 2 stop clicks. They can come out twice.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But if it does, man, go for it. Colony is one of the better swords in this set, especially for sealed, for what Brian said. I don't even think there is a character that doesn't have one of these keywords in this set.
Arcade.
Another super rare that you'll rarely get to see. So here we go. He's a triple shot, easy. In sealed, he might be one of those characters that you kind of have to, like, I don't want to say sacrifice, but you have to play him like chess, where in order to succeed in the game, you have to give up some damage. And some people don't like doing that, and that's usually their downfall. Constructed, I'm not as nice as Brian. He's Herbal Tea. If his trait was beginning of the game, generate 1 bystander, just one, not even 3, just 1, then he's a 3-star, because now all of a sudden one of those bystanders gets to stay on the map, but he's not. So 3 sealed, 1 Herbal Tea.
Yep.
Yeah, I think he's definitely a 3 sealed, and maybe either a 1 or a 0 for constructed. I don't think he's going to really see any play, so I'd give him an Herbal Tea as well. I mean, he's just too many points for what he does, like Brian said. There are other better options. If you're going to play a 125 point piece in constructed, there are better options for that, I think. So, yeah. All right. So let's take a look at the last super rare, Redroot the Forest. This guy's very interesting. He's set number 56.
She.
Oh, it's a she? Okay.
Redroot is a she.
Redroot's a she, okay. So she's set number 56, 60 points, 0 range with 2 targets, 4 speed with a special, 12 attack with Smoke Cloud, 17 defense with Willpower, and 3 damage with Exploit Weakness. She has the Racco, Mystical, and Warrior keywords. She also has the optional trait +5 Sword Bearer. And she has a trait Twisting, Weaving, and Growing. When Redroot the Forest uses Smoke Cloud, after resolutions, you may generate a Twisting Vine bystander, max 3, in a square with a hindering terrain marker generated during that action. And then another power she has is free. Choose 1 to generate in a square within 6 squares and line of fire. So you can do one of those things. Choose 1 to generate in a square within 6 squares and line of fire, a hindering terrain marker, or a Twisting Vine bystander, max 3. So she could do that for free. Then she has a speed. Her speed power is Plasticity and Stealth. Free. Place Redroot the Forest in a square of hindering terrain within 6 squares and line of fire. Kenny, what are your thoughts on Redroot?
I love this. This is right up my alley. This is something that I would love to play and see how far I can take it, hypothetically speaking, in competitive play. I don't think a lot of people will like how she's playing, but she does so much. Mm-hmm. She has to. You look at the 4 speed. Just ignore that, because it's all about her trait. Let's also not forget that she comes with her own sword, which I also think is allows you to do Smoke Cloud is free.
Oh yeah,
yep.
Let's take a look at that sword.
It's just blades, so when you use it after resolution, Smoke Cloud is free.
Oh, okay.
So she's got to get in there first, and she's got to blade you up, which she does have Exploit Weakness. She does have Smoke Cloud on her own. She can generate Hindering Terrain Marker as free or a Vine Bystander, and those vines are no joke. She has Willpower to keep on going. It would be nice if she had Mastermind top dial, but trying to hit her for 6 is no easy task, especially in sealed. She is amazing. I give her, you get her, you play her with the sword. She's a 3-star play in sealed. We'll take a little finesse, but she'll do it. She's not as hard as some other characters to play, but she's not straightforward easy. In constructed, I might be a little biased here. I think she is a double espresso. She is definitely worth fielding. She's definitely worth experimenting with. Anytime you can generate bystanders that can just modify your stats down, it's worth considering. You play emotional modifier and someone else. Now we're talking about -2 attack. Now we're talking about -2 defense, one or the other. We're talking about battle fury while you have -1 attack, -1 defense. There's a lot of ways you can shake that stick, and you know, hopefully people realize it, and she gets the love that she deserves. 3 in sealed, 2 in constructed.
Yeah, and this is by the way, this is what the Twisting Vines stats are. 0 range, 0 speed with plasticity, 10 attack with incapacitate, 10 defense, and 0 damage with a special that is a unique modifier if a friendly character named Redroot the Forest is within 3 squares. Adjacent opposing characters modify attack and defense -1. So you know, sticking those adjacent to your to an opposing character with the plasticity there can be very potent. Brian,
Yeah.
What do you think about her?
She's a stealth character that can make permanent hindering terrain and teleport to it from 6 squares away. I mean, like, that's a fantastic starting point. Now we've got 12 attack, 3 exploits. I mean, she's got the sword with blades. Yes, three shots on that alone. And on top of that, every time she smoke clouds, which she can do as free or as power, she's popping out these bystanders that just can sit there, driving your stats down and incapacitating you, locking you in place with plasticity. She will dominate the board when she's played. You do need to think ahead. She's not just a simple Russian beat stick, but if you can take the time to plot out your turn a little bit, she will just lock your opponent out of the game.
Mm-hmm.
In constructed, not quite as pronounced effects. People generally have more options available, but still, she's got a lot of power there. She's not the sort of figure people are used to playing with, so she's going to, need a little bit more finesse. But I think that she's a diamond in the rough. I'll give her 2 shots as well.
I will say one more thing. She does have a weakness. It's a max 3 for the Twisting Vines. There's no way to get rid of them. If you are foolish with your placement and your generation of those Twisting Vines, and your opponents get away from it, you can't push them to death.
Right.
So I will say, when we're talking about finesse, we really mean it. Like, you need to make sure if you generate those things, they are going to be impactful. If you just generate them willy-nilly, you're going to have a bad time.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you. 3 in constructed, 3 in sealed, 2 in constructed. But you have to she's definitely a finesse figure that you have to plan out your turns and think ahead when you're using that figure. So that was the last of the super rares. Now we're going to go ahead and look at the chases. If you're watching or listening at home, don't forget to subscribe. Give this video a like and hit the bell for notifications. I hope you enjoy my content. Check out the part 1 of this set review for the commons, uncommons, and rares if you haven't seen that. And I really appreciate your viewership. We're going to be looking at the chases now. Our grading scale, just to remind you, is a triple espresso, which is a top tier figure. Double espresso is a second tier figure. Single espresso is not really impressive figure, and herbal tea would be a 0 or a figure that you don't really care about. So you have a 3, 2, 1, or a 0. And we're going to rate the chases, I guess, against each other, because that would probably work. So let's take a look at the first chase, which is Apocalypse. Set number 57. He is 195 points. He's got the Cosmic Energy and X-Men team abilities. He's 8 range with a single target. 10 speed with charge. 12 attack with precision strike. 19 defense with invincible. 5 damage with shape change. He also comes with the 5-point sword bearer trait. He has a trait, the Mask of Annihilation, super senses, traded super senses. He has attack power, free make an attack, but only to target a character that targeted Apocalypse with an attack since your last turn. He gets that in Clix 3 through 7. And then he has a defense power at the end. His last 3 clicks are stop clicks. Summon our full might, stop. Apocalypse can't be damaged by opposing effects, healed, or chosen for Mastermind. At the beginning of your turn, generate a demon bystander in a square within 6 squares. At the end of your turn, deal Apocalypse 1 unavoidable damage. So the demon looks like this. Demon is 8 speed, 11 attack, 17 defense, 3 damage, with charge, quake, invincible, and exploit weakness. The sword that he comes with is Scarab, which is I can find the swords.
So it's a Blade's Claw's Fangs, and when this character uses it, increase the damage dealt by 1 for each 4 in the attack roll. Result can be greater than 6.
Aha, okay. So you could possibly Blades for 8. Which is
If you crit hit 9, yeah.
The crit hit 9, yeah, that's
Give
nice.
that sword to Iska.
I was going to say, yeah, Prime Iska's, she wants that sword.
So, Brian, what do you think of Apocalypse here?
Oof. I mean, all of the chases for sealed are going to be 3 shots. I think we can just skip the pretense. They're all great.
Yeah.
Sealed, though, he's probably a 4 shot. He's that long beat stick down. He's got high defense values, and then once your opponent finally does manage to clock some hits into him, they have to deal with 3 turns of trudging through an undamageable monster of 12 or 13 attack, 5 damage. Everything's penetrating. They can't outwit. The the odds are you're going to win if you pull Chase Apocalypse and Sealed. It constructed, he's a lot of points. I think he might just be flirting with the bottom end of what a tent pole can do. But in constructed, I think people are going to have more access to ink cap. They're going to have ways to, modify their attack up more readily. Those the high defense values are certainly nice, but they're not, a sure thing in constructed. So for constructed, I think I would give him maybe a 2 shot, 1.5, 1.5 shot.
Kenny?
Yeah, I think in Seal, this guy, you pull him, you're probably playing. He's your giant beat stick. He's going to take, well, I don't even think you could KO. He's going to KO himself. He's going to go out on his own terms.
Yeah.
How fast you get him there is a different story. How effectively you do it is another different story, because now he's popping up these bystanders who you don't really want to be around. They're not super scary, but you don't want to deal with them either. That being said, Apocalypse could still do things while he's on those clicks with insane stats. So you kind of don't want to be near him when that's happening. 8 range, so right now he is the top range guy so far in this set. The sword, it's good. I think the other swords I like better. I think I'd rather give Scarab to other characters. Mainly like Cypher or Magic, who have low damage output. So that way, if they do hit, their damage potential could spike even further. We've talked about Iska, because she just loves those 4. She has the rallies with 4, so she could also really utilize it. But with Apocalypse, you got 5s and 4s throughout your dial. Yeah, you might want a 6 at one time, but it's diminishing returns at that point. Constructed, I think he's a 1 shot. I agree, as a big 10 pole, he might be good enough for you to field and see what happens, but I'm not seeing him breaking through the top. I'm really not, but I could see him competing. I could see him causing some pause for other people. So I will give him a single espresso and constructed. And like we said, I think all these chases are going to be triple shots, so there's no need to really repeat ourselves. But you pull him in sealed, have fun, go play him, and kick some butt.
Yeah, I think a 3 in sealed and a 1 in constructed, I think, for Apocalypse. So let's take a look at the White Sword. The White Sword is set number 58. He's 75 points. He does come with the Sword Bearer trait for the extra 5 points. He's got 0 range with a single target, 12 speed with a special, 11 attack with precision strike, 18 defense with invulnerable, and 3 damage with leadership. He has the Araco, Past, and Warrior keywords. He has a trait, Resurrect My Thralls each dawn, twice per game. When a bystander is KO'd after resolutions, you may generate a copy of that bystander. He has, so that's an interesting because it's any bystander. So, and then he's got an attack power, speed power, charge, and flurry. When the White Sword uses charge and hits, this turn friendly bystanders can use charge. His attack power that he gets later on in his dial is Sanctuary of the Ivory Spire. Quake, when the White Sword hits more than one opposing character with a close attack, after resolutions heal 2 clicks on each adjacent friendly character. So, I wasn't really sure what I thought about the White Sword. Kenny, what do you think about the White Sword?
He also has a sword.
Oh yeah, he does have a sword that he comes with. That matters.
So his sword, I have it up right now, is Purity. Just Blades, Claws, Fangs. When his character uses it, after resolutions, you may generate an Okara Warrior bystander. The bystanders are 8, 10, 17, 2, no range, and precision strike. So, nothing to write home about, but
yeah, so when
free bystander.
He gets free bystanders just by attacking because he doesn't actually have to hit with blades. He just has to use it.
You do have to hit if you're rolling blades.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't have to deal damage, just as long as you roll, the bystander pops out.
Oh, I see. So when you hit, then you use the blade. So you do have to hit with the attack.
Right. Yeah.
So there's a good chain of logic here that I like. He wants to get in there, and he has 12 movement, which is good. That's healthy. He hits you. He wants to roll blades. He wants to spawn the Okara. His speed power will trigger, which will allow him this turn for all friendly bystanders to use charge. So now that Okara warrior could use charge with his precision strike. Now it's not going to do a whole lot of damage because it's only doing 1 precision strike, right?
Well, just want to jump in here. He does have flurry. He has potentially 2 Okara warriors after the he turns it.
One at a time, but yeah.
And
the point being is, you give him a sword, he goes in there, he starts hitting, he starts making these bystanders, and for that turn, those bystanders can now charge. So we were just saying how they only have precision strike. That's how this character is supposed to work. He has a really cool attack power. I wish he healed himself. It just says on each adjacent friendly character. I feel like that's a miss. That hurts him. But he's still a phenomenal character. He has 19 defend in the middle of the dial. So if he does get hit, now he's annoying. Now he's in power. All of a sudden, those bystanders are doing more. You pull him, you're more than likely playing him. He definitely holds up his own for 75 points. In constructed, I don't think he's top table worthy. I don't think you see him there. However, he's a lot of fun. Especially, we were just talking about constructs. We were just talking about, there's other bystanders you can do, shenanigans you could do, especially with that trait of his. So, maybe he's like fringe at best. I would say 1.5 in constructed. Not much really else I could add here. He just has good powers that synergize with the bystanders. For 75 points, though, it's hard to say like he's going to break through a constructed, but I said it before. I'll love to be proven wrong with him.
Yeah, don't have much else to say. It is worth noting that bystanders that have max effects are that max only applies to the character that generates them initially.
Mm-hmm.
So hypothetically, if we had a character that had a max 1 on their bystander and the bystander drops, White Sword can then reanimate that and have it as his own separate version of that bystander. The initial character could go make that bystander again go above your limit. It's neat. There's some fringe applications. I don't think he's really going to be seeing much play though. For all the niftiness his tricks have. Great, easy 3-shot for a seal. I think all the chases are going to be, and probably like a 1.5 for constructed.
I just thought of something.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So you pulled this guy, right?
Yep.
And you pulled the rare Kate Pride, and she makes the mutant deserters, right, for the mission points. So, they don't make it back. Something happened to them. They don't make it back. And White Sword's in your starting area. He goes ahead and generates.
I know where you're going. The bystanders say they can only be generated by
do they?
Kate Pride. They do.
Well, that's a bummer. Well, that's not true. Friendly characters with the Marauders, if this effect has not been used this turn, generate. They don't say that.
That says
Check
on the
the
Friendly
bystander.
characters.
Yeah.
Oh, they're on the actual bystander.
Yeah.
Got
Yeah. No, if only.
Okay, well.
Yep.
Scratch
We
that.
tried.
Yeah. If we can find a way to give him the Marauders keyword. I don't think there's a way, though. So.
Yep.
Okay, so let's take a look at the next. Well, I agree with both of you. I think he's like a 1.5 in constructed. I think he's 3 in sealed. Let's take a look.
He's definitely fun though. I'm looking forward to trying him at like just casual nights.
Yeah. Let's take a look at Annihilation. Annihilation is one of the big characters from the Ten of Swords set, from the Ten of Swords comic. She's like the god that, or the goddess that destroys everything and splits Okara.
Apocalypse's wife, who's been stranded in Araco, leading them like Apocalypse was doing on her. It's an interesting character.
Yeah. Oh, it's okay. And she's 70 points. She's got the optional sword bearer trait, and she does come with a sword also. She's 0 range with 2 targets, 10 speed with charge, 11 attack, 18 defense with invincible, and 4 damage with perplex. Her keywords are Araco, deity, horseman, past, ruler, and warrior. She has that sword bearer trait. She has a trait that says command the hordes. Leadership. When she uses it, friendly characters with the Araco keyword within 3 squares are considered to be adjacent. At the beginning of your turn, generate a demon bystander max 3. So she just does that at the beginning of her turn, and it's the same demon that we saw with Apocalypse. It's the exact same stats, same bystander. And so then she has another trait. When Annihilation is KO'd, choose a friendly character. For the rest of the game, that character is considered to have the demon bystander printed on its card and can use the command the hordes trait. So she just passes that trait on to another character, which is really cool.
Even when she dies, the demons don't stop coming.
Yes. So
she does have a sword as well.
Oh yeah, let's take a look at the sword.
So her sword is the Twilight Sword, which is Blades, Claws, Fangs. When this character uses it, after resolutions, may generate a number of blocking terrain markers up to the D6 result.
Do they go away, Brian?
They do not.
Aha.
They don't go away, but they're not within range though, so that you have to generate them adjacent to you.
Right. So if you roll high, be careful you don't box yourself in. But it does say you can generate up to the result, so you can choose to just generate the 1. You can generate only 2, whatever. Just because your blades was a 6 doesn't mean you need to completely just choke yourself off from all movement.
But they don't go away, so that's really cool.
Right. Yeah, just a nice permanent little wall blocking you off from whoever was going to be planning on shooting her.
Let's take a look at her again. Brian, what do you think about Annihilation?
These are the first chase I think might see decent constructed play. Again, sealed run her 3 shots easy. Constructed though, I'm going to give her 2 shots. 70 is up there a little bit, but it's still a reasonable point value. Keywords aren't fantastic, but ruler's got some support. Past is great for Latveria. And those bystanders just coming out as a constant stream to harass your opponent, I think is going to have some applications. I'm expecting people to pick her up and run with her a little bit.
Yeah.
Kenny?
No, I agree with Brian here. You have Dr. Alia Gregor, who can boost stats up even further with the bystanders.
Yeah.
If there was a chance for a white sword, to see play, that's a lot of investment, but that's also just a lot of demon bystanders just running around too. I don't think that's the optimal play, but just throwing some examples of how it could be applied. And she'll be in Modern for 2 years, so for the next 2 years, you got to think about, does anyone get the Mask of Annihilation at any point, and do I have to be worried about it? Especially when you're pumping out that many bystanders with crazy stats like that. Brian, I have a question for you. She has leadership,
Certainly.
correct?
She does.
And she is friendly. She is a friendly to herself, and she is within 3 squares of herself because she has the Araco keyword, correct?
Yep.
So she can clear herself with her own leadership.
That she can.
So
likewise, whoever gets that Mask of Annihilation can clear themselves as well.
Well, they have the Araco keyword.
True. It's not a shared keyword. It's just Araco. Yep.
Yeah. So
yeah,
it's okay. I mean, maybe she does pass it off to another Araco keyword. I mean, she's not unique. You can play 2 of her if you really want to. Yeah. So yeah, she's definitely a triple in espresso. I think she has the potential to be triple and constructed. I'm gonna keep it a little cooler though. We're gonna say double and constructed, but that sky's the limit with her just because of that second trait.
Yeah, I think she's a really good bystander generator. Those demons are really good bystanders. So I'd give her a 3 in sealed and a 2 in constructed. Let's take a look at Blink. Blink is 75 points. She is set number 60. X-Men team ability, 5 range with 3 targets, 9 speed with hypersonic speed and flying, 11 attack with precision strike, 18 defense with a special, and 3 damage with shape change. She has the Age of Apocalypse, Exiles, Generation X, New Mutants, Sword, Utopia, and X-Men keywords. She has improved movement, blocking, and characters. She has a trait, Blink Portals. At the beginning of your turn, you may generate a portal marker, max 3, into a square within range, or place a portal marker from anywhere on the map into a square within range. When a friendly character within range and line of fire makes a range attack, they may count range and draw line of fire from a portal marker. If they do, their maximum range is 3, and after resolutions, remove that marker. Then she has an attack power, Blink, Incapacitate. When Blink uses it after resolutions, you may place a hit character given an action token up to 3 squares away from its current square. But she doesn't get that attack power until later in her dial. And she has a defense power, Super Senses. When Blink is missed by an attack, after resolutions, you may deal 1 penetrating damage to an opposing character within 3 squares of a portal marker. So that's pretty neat. Brian, what do you think about Blink?
I mean, right off the bat, jumps out to me that the portal marker does not need a line of fire, just that it's within her range. Granted, 5 range isn't anything to write home about, but there's some shield in this set. You get that range up, you can pop that portal marker further away, and people can just shoot out of it. Your opponent's all locked in, barriered up. There's no way to get to them. Just suddenly that was a portal marker under their feet, and they're getting shot at by anyone within 5 squares of blink. She's got the hypersonic. She's got all that improved movement, blocking characters. If you play her, you want her on a nice map with a lot of blocking terrain, a lot of walls, so you can just pop out, take a pot shot and disappear. She's gonna be a fun little harasser piece. 3 shots sealed. I think maybe 2 shots in constructed. I'm probably overestimating her a little bit, but I think there's enough of the kit there that people will be attracted to her.
Kenny?
I totally agree. You pull her, you play in her sealed. There's no question about it. In constructed though, she's kind of she's like the anti-tank character, and she can open up a lot of different portals, a lot of different strategies. It's not hard to up that range. She's very thematic. This is, if you know Blink in the comics, this is probably the most accurate version of her to date, and it has potential. 75 points is a lot. She is a little fragile. She, everything could be outwitted, but in order to do that, you got to get with her. And if she's putting portals out there, you can't really ignore the portals either. So there's a lot going for her. I do think she's easily a double espresso in constructed. She is worth experimenting. She is worth fielding and seeing how far you could take it. 75 points in today's day is a bit of an investment. I think you get return on that investment. But we'll see if the community agrees. So easily triple sealed, double constructed.
Yeah, I think I agree with both of you. 3 in sealed, triple espresso in sealed, double espresso in constructed. She's a character that you want to play around with and see what you can do, experiment with, because she does have a high point value, 75 points, but if you can make her work, she has interesting abilities, so she can do a whole lot. Let's take a look at the next chase, which is Saturnine. Kenny. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at her stats first. Set number 61. She's 150 points. She's got the Cosmic Energy and Mystics team ability. 8 range with a single target. 10 speed with running shot. 12 attack with a special. 18 defense with invincible. 4 damage with a special. She has the Cosmic, Excalibur, Mystical, and Ruler keywords. She has a trait that the card is drawn, the core reborn. Free, generate a Captain Britain core bystander in a square within 6 squares and line of fire. Max 3. Then she has another trait. Long may she reign. Mastermind, when Saturnine uses it, she may instead choose a friendly character with Captain Britain in their name within 6 squares. And then she has her attack power is Dragonfire, penetrating psychic blast, and improved targeting characters and improved targeting out of adjacency. Range, choose an opposing character within range and along a direct line of fire. Make a range attack targeting that character and all other characters occupying squares along that line of fire. Instead of normal damage, each hit character is dealt Saturnine's printed damage value. So that can be comboed with running shot because it's a range action. And then her damage power is Omniversal Majestrix. Leadership, Perplex. Once per turn, you may reroll a die rolled by a character within range, including 1 die of an attack roll. So it could be a Super Sense roll, it could be anything that's a single die. Her Captain Britain core bystanders that she makes, are 8 speed with charge, 10 attack with blades, 17 defense with toughness, and 2 damage. So, yeah, Kenny, what do you think about Saturnine?
He's one of those finesse pieces that we've been talking about before. 150 points for 6 clicks. That is a deep, deep investment, but I actually think she's worth it. You pull her in sealed, you're playing her. Being able to generate bystanders not next to you is always a fantastic thing. And then she has Mastermind that also doesn't care. Well, it cares within 6 squares. That being, there's a lot of flexibility given with her. The Dragonfire is an amazing ability. The bystanders that she generates have flight, so after she does something and she wants to generate them, they can carry her to safety. You want to use them aggressively. You want to get closer. There's a lot of different ways you can shake this. You can shake this stick here. 6 clicks though, I get it. It's scary, but I think with enough finesse, enough smart play, and then you still have to fill out the rest of your team, she can do it. She is good enough. You play her in sealed. I think, again, I personally put her as a 3-star in constructed. She'll probably end up being a 2, maybe in 1.5, because I don't think a lot of people are going to get over how fragile she looks with her short dial. The cool thing about her trait, it looks for characters named Captain Britain, which are her bystanders. There's a handful of other characters that are also named Captain Britain. Probably not worth playing, but if you pull the super rare Captain Britain, now that's Mastermind fodder. That's 6 squares away. That's cool little tricks with her. She has leadership reflex and what I like to call super prob, where she can choose to use it not only for attacks and breakaway rolls, but like you said, single die rolls, and she can do only 1 die, which in my opinion is a superior version of probability control. There's a lot going on with her. Like I said, I think she's 3s all around, but I feel like we won't see her top table on the maps. But, all it takes is 1 or 2 people to show that she can do it. We'll see what happens.
Brian?
Yeah, same boat. Obvious 3-shot sealed, constructed, probably around 2 shots. I'll admit I balk a little bit at the 150 points for 6 clicks, even with her kit. But I can't deny you're not getting value for those points. I think there's a definite chance she's going to see it top table play, but I think a lot of people are going to be, much like me, a little nervous to be the one actually trying that out.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with both of you. I think in sealed, she's a must play. She's 3. In constructed, I'd give her a 2. I think, she definitely has potential because she's got a lot of things she could do with those bystanders. She does have Mastermind to them, so if you play smart and you keep her protected, even though she does have a short dial. I mean, for 150 points though, it is a major risk. So you have that risk and reward. I think. You can do a lot of things with those bystanders. You can sit them back behind her 6 squares, and then she can Mastermind to them. You can pop them out as kind of like an alpha. You can even, I think she has full map reach. You wouldn't want to do this, but if she wanted to, she could move all the way out, then generate a bystander 6 squares away, and then they could charge in. And I think that's full map reach with just the 1 bystander. You wouldn't want to actually do that though. But there's a lot of things you could do with the bystanders, so I think she's got potential. I'd give her a 2. But yeah, in sealed, she's a definite 3. All right, let's take a look at Lady Roma. Lady Roma is set number 62. She's 65 points. She has the Mystic's team ability, 7 range with single target, 8 speed with phasing teleport, 10 attack with smoke cloud, 18 defense with energy shield deflection, 3 damage with support, and she has the Excalibur, mystical, politician, and ruler keywords. She has improved targeting, elevated, and characters. She has a trait, the Floating Kingdom, leadership, shape change. When an opposing character attacks Lady Roma or an adjacent friendly character, if they began the turn on a different elevation than Lady Roma, modify their attack -2 and damage -1. Then she has another trait, Perplex. When an opposing character within line of fire uses Perplex after resolutions, roll a d6. On a 4 through 6, the targeted character modifies the chosen combat value by the opposite amount instead. So -1 instead of +1 or vice versa. So that's interesting. And, I mean, Lady Roma, she seems like a very interesting figure. Kenny, what do you think about Lady Roma?
I like her. She's fragile. Another finesse piece, another finesse chase. 65 points, 6 clicks, 7 range, which, you know, we've seen 8 was the top. Saturnine up to APOC, so she's in that second tier of range with other characters. She has IT elevated and IT characters. That's amazing. So that perplex that she's using is going to be great. The second half, you know, she'll be able to see through elevated through characters if people are using perplex to potentially flip that. But the real caveat here is the floating kingdom, where yes, the shape change is fantastic. No denying that. But being able to manipulate modifiers as much as she does based on placement, based on where terrain is, that's insane. If we were talking about Red Root potentially giving you, and Divines, -1 attack, -1 defense, if you're within 3 of Red Root and next to Divines, this lady can blow that out of the water. Where you start on elevated, they're not on elevated. Or vice versa. If there's just different elevations, -2 attack, -1 damage, nobody wants to deal with that. You have 13 attack, you're down to 11. You have 10 attack, you're down to 8. If you had 3 damage, you're down to 2. You're not cracking some of the reducers in this game anymore. And it's also not just her. It's her and adjacent friendly characters. So you want to be huddled in together. Now, granted, when any effect where you're together, energy explosion can blow you up, literally and figuratively, but that's worth the risk here. She has shape change, she has ESD. There's a lot going on here. She could be quite annoying. It's not a unique modifier. I don't think you want to play 2 of her, but if you did play 2 of her, you're a very annoying person. So you pull her in shield, you play her. She's not going to KO everyone and win the game for you, but she will set up the other characters you play with to do so. Constructed. Whew. Is she a 3? I don't know. I think she has potential to be. I'm going to put her at a 2. I think someone will figure it out. You know, doesn't always have to be me, guys. And there's something there, especially with a lot of modifier manipulation. So we're going to say a 2, a double espresso when it comes to constructed.
Brian, what do you think?
Yeah, the definite applications for constructed. The modify attack -2, damage -1 is amazing. She's going to need a theme team because you're going to want to be able to go to the map of your choice.
Fair.
But mystical, politician, ruler all have options. They're not the best things in the keywords in the game right now, but they're up there. They're like, you know, second tier. The fact that she can see through characters and elevation for targeting is great. Even if she's not the powerhouse in your team, the perplex certainly helps. Plus character within the line of fire. It's a global effect. All she needs to do is be able to see them, and she can start screwing with your opponent's perplexes. She's got the tools. She'll see play and constructed. And then, in sealed, like Kenny mentioned, she's not going to win the game for you, but she's going to make it so that whatever else you pull is going to be just have that leg up over your opponent to carry you over to the finish line. 3 shots sealed, 2 shots constructed.
Yeah, I mean, I actually might even give her a 3 in constructed. I think, well, maybe a 2.5. But I think she's definitely got potential because of her support abilities. I mean, she is 65 points, so that's a lot to spend for support, but she does a whole lot. And I think Mystical Keyword is getting stronger, so especially with this set. So I think you can definitely build around her. It is map dependent, a lot of it, the way she works, but I like her. I would give her 2.5 in constructed and then 3 in sealed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sounds good.
All right, so let's look at Merlin. Merlin is set number 63. He is 150 or 50 points. He has Cosmic Energy team ability, Mystics team ability, 7 range with 2 targets, 10 speed with phasing teleport, 12 attack with penetrating psychic blast, 19 defense with a special, and 4 damage with a special. His trait, he has a trait, the Holy Republic of Fae. During each player's turn, that player can't give their characters free actions if they've already given a number of free actions equal to their action total that turn. And then he has a defense power, invincible, free, roll a d6 on a 4 through 6, heal Merlin 1 click, or modify Merlin's defense +1 until your next turn. Now keep in mind that free that you're activating there is going to be part of your limited free actions, because you limit both yourself and your opponent to a certain number of free actions.
Just don't use it.
Just don't use it. And then he's got a damage power, perplex, and action total +1. So if you do use that perplex, he's also using a free action, but the action total +1 helps you alleviate that. He comes in at 150 or 50. I mean, I think I'd probably play him at 50 in constructed. Brian, what do you think about Merlin?
Constructed, he's only going to see play at 50. I don't know anyone that's going to want to go dump half their build into the top dial there. But in sealed, I mean, 7 range, 12 side blast, 4 damage. That's, I think, worth it. With the high defense values, the ability to self heal, I could definitely see a sealed team wanting to run him at the 150 line. Even though, still, 50 points is nothing to sneeze at in sealed. If you pulled another good attacker, like maybe with the uncommon Magneto, and you just want to get that perplex and the +1 action total, Merlin's got your back there. He is a 3-star sealed, 3-star constructed. There's a lot of teams in the meta right now. They're not going to want to have to count their free actions. I'm very interested to see how he shapes things.
And Kenny?
So if I had to pick one character out of this entire set that's going to have the most impact, it's this guy. And I love Magic Jaspers, but it's definitely Merlin because of what Brian said. You don't want to have to count your free actions. Players might not be used to that. Newer players might not be used to that. Older players, when they play the Green Lantern battery, they might have some familiarity with it. Still not fun. I did it. I didn't enjoy it. I just had to do it because that's what it made you do. And
with
then
those gifs of the flashbacks.
Yeah, it is what it is. And the game has its ebbs and flows, where some things might seem impressive, some things are wide open, some things are all alpha, some things are all tanky, and it seems like we're kind of entering that phase of resource management, and this character is bringing it hard. The 150 point line might as well not exist, except for sealed. I think Brian makes a very good point where if you pulled a lot of utility and this is your big guy, play him at 150. But if you play him at 50, there's nothing wrong with that either. But I really mean what I say. If I had to get rid of all the other characters and only pick one to exist because it's that impactful and constructed, this is the guy. So if you pull him, you win. You go 0-3, you win. Because if you're playing constructed, he's going to be a staple for a long, long time.
All right. Merlin, I would say 3s all around, sealed and constructed. He's a you want to play him if you're in sealed, and yeah, for sure he's going to have a big impact on constructed play.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, and one last thing, I really mean it. Don't activate the free of the defense power. If you only have 4 free actions to use and he's top dial, why are you rolling it? Do you really need that +1 defense? He doesn't need to be in the action. He could hang back. That's how good he is. So I've been hearing a lot of that, where it's like, I don't like that he has 2 free actions. I'm like, all right, don't use one of them.
You really need the +1 defense? Just have him perplex himself.
And keep in mind also that if you're playing against him and you charge or you use running shot, those involve free actions. If you do the attack part of the charge and the attack part of the running shot, those are free actions, right? Free. Am I right?
So you could use a close or range as free, a capital close. So if I'm going to charge and flurry, that's a free. Right. I believe you do the charge and the vanilla attack. That does not count as a free. Or
right. So when you charge your running shot, use charge, you make a close, all caps is free, or make a close attack.
Yeah.
And running shot is range as free, all caps range, or make a ranged attack.
So, yeah.
Oh, so you would just choose the other one.
Right, but
you have the option. Yeah.
When you have got Merlin out, he could potentially lock your opponent out of like a charge flurry or a running shot pulse wave or running shot energy explosion. They won't be able to use the activated powers, but passives like blades or incapacitate could still get applied.
Okay.
And a lot of these powers are now passive from the updates that we have from the Wonder Woman set. So Merlin's still fantastic. It's still a great effect, but I think Merlin would have been like, man, if I came out back in 2018 or 2017. Yeah. But yeah, that being said, there are ways to get around it, but it's just a lot of tracking still.
All right, and the last figure, the last chase of the set is Professor X. He's set number 64. He is 75 points, 6 range with single target, 8 speed with mind control, 11 attack with penetrating psychic blast, 17 defense with mastermind, 3 damage with a special. He has a rally trait, rally 5 for opposing attack roll. So if they roll a 5, free, remove one of Professor X's rally dice to choose a friendly character with a shared keyword within range and line of fire. This turn, Professor X may count range and draw line of fire from the chosen character and uses his printed combat values when doing so. Okay. Then he has another trait, Forging the Cerebro Sword. Once per game, when an opposing equipment would be KO'd, you may instead equip it to a friendly character. If you do, that character can use Blaze Claw's Fangs this game. Okay. And then his damage power is no more. Outwit. When he uses it, the duration doesn't end until he uses it again or this power is lost. So he's got some good keywords: Illuminati, Politician, Quiet Council, Ruler, Starjammers, X-Force, and X-Men keywords. Brian, what are your thoughts on Professor X?
I love him in Sealed. That is a very potent outwit. In Constructed, though, I just don't know if he's going to do everything he needed to do. The everything he has is really cool. I love being able to draw the range line of fire from friendly characters. I love the outwit that won't turn off, and especially the way those two combo. For 75 points, I don't think that's what I'm necessarily looking for that in any of my teams. Forging the Cerebro Sword is very cool. It's flavorful, but I just don't think that's going to be a real relevant thing in Constructed, unfortunately. So probably just I'll give him one shot just because I'm going to enjoy having him out for casual events and stuff. He's not just going to occupy space in the tackle box for me, but Constructed, I think he's just one shot. Sealed, though, easy 3-shot for me. He's got the support powers. He's got decent damage. He'll definitely do his work for you in Sealed.
And Kenny?
No, I agree with Brian here. I do like him. His kit's great. Something just feels off. I don't know if it's the point value. I don't know if it's his the order of standard powers or his dial length. Something just feels a little off. I don't know if he needed a seventh click. I don't know if he needed to be 60 and 30 instead of 75 and 40. There's, I don't know if the second click needed to have mind control and that outwit power. There's something just missing, and it just misses the mark. He's probably a single espresso and constructed. That being said, I agree with Brian. I'm going to have fun with him. He's not a bad figure. He does things well. You play him with Abigail Brand, all those X-Men turn into shield. That 6 turns into a 9. Now his rally has a lot of range. His outwit has a lot of range. You can outwit someone from across the map, and it's going to stay outwitted with the rally. And you have mind control. You have pen side blast. It's reminiscent of the GSX Professor X. Probably not as good. The outwit power is reminiscent of the UXM Professor X. Not as good, but it's two of them together. So it's an interesting take. I'll have fun with it, but it's not going to see top play, unfortunately. Sealed, you play him, and it's an X-Men set. Rally, why wouldn't you not play him? We nailed down how in the CURs you're not seeing a whole lot of outwit. This guy has a permanent outwit. Of course you're going to play him. Penetrating damage, mind control, nothing to sneeze at here for 75 points. You absolutely run him. So yeah, triple sealed, probably single constructed, but for funsies, yeah, he's a triple for me for funsie events.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I would say a 3 in sealed, triple espresso, single espresso, or 1 in constructed, but would love to play him at casual events. He's going to be a lot of fun to use. And that finishes our set review. So that is the last of our chases. We just looked at the super rares and chases of Marvel HeroClix X-Men 10 of Swords. Thank you, Brian and Kenny, for coming on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. And I mean, if you're watching or listening at home, post in the comments with your favorite figure from X-Men 10 of Swords. I'm interested in hearing what you think is your favorite of all the figures that we reviewed in the set. And
what was your favorite?
What was my favorite? My favorite was probably I like Mad Jim Jesters.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I mean, he's just.
There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what are your favorites?
You want to go first, Brian? There's a lot. There's a lot.
I love this set. I think the one I'm most looking forward to running is Blink, personally. But I mean, just like we got the shirtless farming Colossus, we got Hope. There's a lot of really fun figures in this set.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I got to give it to Blink.
Yeah, there's fun figures too. Yeah, and Kenny, what's your favorite?
I really, really, really like Saturnine. I really do. I think that would be mine. That's my personal favorite. If I have to pick like I said, Merlin's probably the one that I know he's going to make an impact. There's no question. I'll bet both of my arms. But like the one that I personally want to play and enjoy and see how far I can take, it's going to be Saturnine.
Yeah, I mean, one of the ones that I'm really actually interested in toying around with and kind of figuring out is Monarch too. I kind of like Monarch a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, and Iska Prime too. Iska Prime. I mean, there's just so many.
It's a good set. Yeah.
It's a solid set. Yeah.
So, everybody at home, post with your favorites in the comments, and don't forget, everybody, wake up and smell the Clix.